Hello, this is Agnete from Madder Mortem. You are listening to What's Metal?
So first question, I think our listeners are not that familiar with your band, so maybe you can just briefly summarize the band history, what you released so far and stuff like that.
Well, we started up approximately around 1993 under a different name with a very different lineup, but still me and BP, who are the only original members left. We recorded a cassette demo, which was strange. We kept on for some years, changed some members, and then finally in 1997 we sort of started using the Madder Mortem name and sort of came into a proper band. We recorded a mini CD that's called Mr. Sleep, which we didn't release it, we just sent it around to different companies, and we closed the deal with Misanthropy Records, English cult label. And we released Mercury, our first album there in 1999, I think. Many years about. And then when we had released Mercury, suddenly Misanthropy closed down because Tiziana was bored of being in the record industry. So that was like a very confusing time. Three of our members moved away to different parts of the country, so education and stuff. So it was like a very bleak year. But then Century Media got in touch with us and wondered what we were up to. We recorded the demo for them, and they liked it. And so we released All Flesh is Grass 2001, toured with Trisania Wintersorg and Rotten Christ the same fall, and then released Deadlands now in October 2002.
All right, how would you characterize your music? I think that's quite difficult. Where do you fit in?
I don't know. I think we fit in with anybody who's not too concerned with genres, who likes music primarily for music. And I describe it as, this is always bleeding difficult, but it's heavy, definitely. It's also very melodic. It's not really happy. It's very depressive and very groovy. So it's perhaps some kind of avant-garde doom-ish, something like that. But basically, it's just Madder metal. That's what we choose to call it.
Do you think that there is a certain Madder Mortem fan type?
Well, the strange thing, we've been discussing this a lot on tour, that it seems to be people with glasses and beards. I don't know why, but people with glasses usually like Madder Mortem. Seriously, I don't know. It tends to be people who are already into lots of different kinds of music, who like both metal and jazz and classical music. People who have a very open mind. And I think that's really cool.
Is the release that you did for Misanthropy still available somewhere?
Yeah, I think Supernal Music, which have a website, I think they took over all the old Misanthropy releases, and also Century Media have some copies of it on their mail order, but it's not easy to get in stores and stuff like that. It's a shame. I still kind of like it.
So how is your relationship to Opeth on this tour? Is there a certain kind of friendship?
Yeah, it's. I mean, we never met him before the tour. I've been mailing a bit with Mike because since he likes our stuff and we like his stuff, so. But it turns out very, very good. I mean, they are Swedish, we're Norwegian. It's basically the same language, which is very comfortable. And also, I think we have pretty much the same kind of humor and the same kind of taste in music, which is really important on the bus. So it's working out great. We had a jam session earlier today. Madder Mortem and Merchandiser and Opeth playing Opeth songs. Very nice.
So what about Century Media? Do you have every artistic freedom that you want there?
Yeah, just as easy as that, yes. That was kind of important to us when we signed, and I'd much rather not record than have anybody doing stuff to my recordings after they're done. So we basically do what we want. I mean, obviously not in form of unlimited budget, because the budgets aren't really great, but artistic-wise we're free, which is important, I think.
Okay, if the budget would be no problem, how would a perfect Madder Mortem CD sound like?
I don't know. I think that depends from record to record. I mean, Deadlands now, In our opinion, that's pretty much how we wanted it to be. I mean, there are details like that you would have been able to correct if you had more time, like this on this part the guitar should have been a little bit louder, and I wanted to make an extra backup vocal there and there. But in essence, it sounds the way we wanted it to sound. But I think if we had more time, we'd work more with the sound and take even more time with vocals, backup things, and lend in some violins, stuff like that. Be able to experiment a bit more. It's not so much what it. Working on a low budget means that you have to have everything planned before you go into the studio. You have to have a clear idea of everything that should be recorded. But if you have a longer budget, you could perhaps take only the basic song structures and sort of play around with them in the studio, which makes for a different kind of idea to come up than doing it in the rehearsal room. So it would be fun to try it, just to see how that would work for us, because we never had that possibility.
The support of Century Media, you are satisfied with that. So how was it possible to get the support slot for this tour, maybe, for example?
This slot is purely because Michael likes our records. Point blank. There's nothing else to it than that. I mean, they should perhaps have had a bigger band, but I think they went for something that they liked, which is extremely cool for us. This is the tour I would have picked. This is the band I'd wanted to tour with, since it's one of my favorite bands as well. So it's really cool. Century Media is I don't know. We're not a very big selling band, so they support us in proportion to the amount of records we sell.
What is the amount that you sell?
I'm not really sure, actually. I think I would guess around 5 of All Flesh until last half year accounting, which is not a lot. I tend to think of it as 5,000 people actually listening to it, which I like. But I don't know. Naturally, we would like to live off music at some point and be able to do only that. But the most important thing is that we get to record our stuff, that we get to make our albums, and hopefully tour once in a while as well.
So besides Madder Mortem, is there any place for project stuffs that some of the band members are doing?
Yeah, definitely. Paul, our bass player, and Patrick, our merchandise guy, have a band that's called Frantic Bleep. Demos the stage, but it's really cool, really progressive, really strange metal. I do some like popish, very sweet with acoustic guitar thing with a friend of mine. BP has and Paul has another band with our webmaster. It's sort of a little family thing. But I would really like to do more projects. But when you have a band that's serious and you also have a full-time job, that doesn't exactly leave too much time to do other stuff.
What is your normal job?
I'm an accountant, and please don't tell people.
Okay, I asked you that before, but for the listeners, once again. So the reactions on this tour, how are they? How are the fans reacting on your material?
I mean, as I said to you earlier as well, usually the people that come up to you after a show and want to talk to you, they think it's good. So I get really good reactions, but I think it seems like the Opeth audience are accepting us pretty well. They're already into something that's kind of strange. They like music that is dynamic and very emotional. So this part has been good. I met one guy who had learned enough Norwegian to tell me in Norwegian that he didn't like it at all, and that was kind of fun. But good, I think.
So before you told me about the perfect Madder Mortem album, how does it look on the technical level? Do you feel yourself, or maybe the other band members, somehow restricted in their technical abilities on their instruments? What would you improve?
I don't know. I think all of us pretty much share the same way of thinking about it, because we've always had the basis in playing what we want to play and not rehearsing to be a good technician, but rather to focus on the music. So what usually happens is that if anybody comes up with an idea that the others can't follow up, we just rehearse until we can. But for me, I would like to sort of widen the vocal spectrum even more, like do more different stuff, softer and harsher, and just basically just developing yourself through the making of music that you really love. That's it comes natural because you always want another challenge. I mean, when you've recorded one album and a year or two passes, you should be able to look back at it and say at least still love the music, but I have improved as a musician. That's good. That's a good feeling.
Okay, so our show is called What's Metal? What do you think is metal? Is it just music? Is it a lifestyle or?
I don't know. I mean, I like basically every kind of music. And I grew up with classical stuff. I love lots of pop albums. I love jazz. I love blues. Anything that's good in any genre. But I do think of myself as a metal person, and that has much more to do with attitude than with any kind of musical preference. So I don't know. I think it's it is so silly. I mean, headbanging is a stupid thing, but it's goddamn fun as well. I mean, there's the possibility of doing stuff that is actually a little bit cheesy, but that's cool anyhow. I mean, like doing the horn sign and all. It feels good. It's just metal is fuzz guitar also. Fuzz guitars. That's important.
So what's up after this tour? Will you write new material then? Are you scheduled for any summer open airs maybe?
No summer openers that I know of. Some Norwegian stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ, my band is sound checking. TNT, remember? No summer openers, some festivals in Norway, but mainly we're thinking about going into the studio again late autumn. So we should start getting some new stuff done. We have like ideas and sketches, but nothing proper. So we need some time to work properly on new material. And I love touring, I love playing live, but that's the fun bit. Making new music. The first time you play a song in the rehearsal room and it actually sits there, it kicks in, that's the essence of making music. That's so fun.